I'm standing in the center of a brand new room, waiting for the flowers of a life to bloom. I've got my suitcases stacked against the wall, but I'm still waiting for the sky to fall. I try to plant my feet, I try to find the grit to make a home of this and make a go of it. But my soul is a nomad, my heart is a ghost, tied to a shoreline I've lost to the coast. I'm reaching down deep through the floorboards and dust, searching for something that I can still trust. But the soil is gone and the garden is dry, and I'm just a branch reaching out for the sky. I've got roots with no earth, a love with no name, a fire that's burning with nobody to blame. I make it to memories that won't let me go, but I've got no ground left to help me to grow. I'm dangling in midair, I'm caught in the breeze, shaking like winter through the skeletons of trees, searching for home since the day of my birth. Just roots with no earth. Just roots with no earth. I remember the house where we put down our stakes, before the foundation was covered in breaks. The dirt felt so solid, the walls felt so high. We were building a kingdom beneath the July. Now I'm carrying the ceilings in a plastic jar, trying to remember who the hell we are. But you can't grow a future on a memory of rain, or find a new harvest in the middle of pain. I found the pen that you left by the bed, the one with the ink that's a deep, dusty red. I pulled out a page from a notebook of mine and started to wander through every line. I don't know your city, I don't know your street, I don't know the people you're destined to meet, but I'm writing this down in the quiet of two, a letter never sent to you. It's a strange kind of map of the places we've been, of the sorry and maybe, and where have you been? I'm talking to shadows, I'm talking to air, but I'm acting as if you were sitting right there. It's a letter never sent to you, full of the things that I still can't undo. The words are all crowded, the margins are tight with the secrets I've kept through the heat of the night. I'm telling you things that I couldn't quite say when the world was still bright and you weren't away. A paper thin ghost of a love that was true, in the letter never sent to you. I told you I finally fixed that old shelf, and how I'm learning to live by myself. I wrote about how the coffee tastes thin, and how I still wait for the day to begin. A apologize for the silence and pride, for the parts of my heart that I used to hide. But the envelope's empty, the stamp is a lie, and the ink on the paper is already dry. Just breathing through the static. The drive back home is a hollow line between the person I was and doing fine. The radio's broken, the signal is weak, just a jagged hiss when I try to speak. I'm moving my lips but no words come out, just a cloud of exhaust and a shadow of doubt. The world is a blur of a white and a black, and I'm trying to find my way back. It's the sound of the empty, the sound of the void, like a beautiful frequency we went and destroyed. I'm searching for a voice, I'm searching for a tune in the middle of a cold and a silent afternoon. I'm just breathing through the static tonight, looking for a pulse, looking for a light. My lungs are heavy with the white noise air, searching for a signal that's no longer there. It's a hum in my ears, it's a blur in my chest, the heart that's forgotten how to take a rest. I'm caught in the friction, I'm lost in the traffic, just breathing through the static. Before we were lost in this digital cloud, we had a rhythm, we had a beat. Now it's just the sound of the sleet and the heat. I'm adjusting the dial, I'm hitting the dash, waiting for a spark or a lightning flash. But the airways are crowded with nothing at all, just the sound of a winter beginning to fall. The suitcase is open, half filled on the bed, with all of the things that we never said. One shirt is folded, the other is torn, like the tired out love that we've already worn. I'm standing in the hallway, looking at the door. I've got one foot on the carpet, one foot on the floor. I'm checking my watch, but the time is a blur between who I am now and the person I were. It's the longest mile I've ever had to tread, from the kitchen table to the life ahead. I'm caught in the middle of a stay and a go, in a cold, quiet rhythm that's starting to show. I'm halfway to leaving, but I'm still in the room, a shadow that's stuck in this gathering gloom. I've said my goodbyes to the ghost in the hall, but I'm waiting for something to make me stay small. The keys are in my pocket, the engine is cold. I'm losing my grip on the story we told. Half of me's gone, half of me's grieving. I'm stuck in the motion of halfway to leaving. I see a coffee cup stained on the rim, and the light in the garden is starting to dim. I wanna reach out to touch your hand, but I'm already walking on a different land. It's a slow motion break, a quiet retreat, from the bitter and sour to the bittersweet. I'm untying the knots one string at a time, believing this house feels like committing a crime. If I turn around now, will you even be there? Or are you already breathing a different air? We're both in the doorway, we're both in the dark, waiting for a reason or a final spark. found you leaning in the tall, dry grass, where the summer winds and the shadows pass. A streak of violet in a field of brown, before the heavy October rain came down. You weren't grown in a garden, you weren't meant for a vase. You were a bit of light in a lonely place. But the frost is coming, the air is getting thin, and I don't know where your ending should begin. No one planted you, no one saw you grow in the secret spots where the quiet waters flow. You fought the weeds and you reached for the sun, but your season is over, your time is done. This is the requiem of a wildflower, lost in the tall grass. At the final hour, you bloomed in the cracks. You lived on the edge, tied to a promise and a broken pledge. Now you're bowing your head to the turning of the tide, with all of the beauty you were trying to hide. A funeral of petals in a cold gray shower, the requiem of a wildflower. I remember when you were a defiant spark, lighting up the corners of the deep and the dark. You didn't need a fence, you didn't need a hand, just a little bit of rain and a patch of land. But the world is heavy and the world is cold, and you grew so tired of being so bold. Now the stems are brittle and the color is gone, and you won't be waking for the winter dawn. I'm walking down the sidewalk, trying to find my pace, but the world is moving in a different kind of space. I step when they slide, I breathe when they hold, a summer heart trapped in the middle of the cold I see. Across the street, just a blur in the crowd, I try to call your name, but it isn't very loud. You move into a tempo that I can't quite hear, while I'm still stuck in the rhythm of a ghost from last year. It's like we're playing music on two different stations, lost in the static of our own vibrations. I'm reaching for a hand that's a second ahead, we're playing the lines that have already been said. We're out of sync and out of sight, two ships passing in the dead of the night. The timing is jagged, the gears are all worn, the fabric of us is permanently torn. I'm looking for a signal that I'll never find, a heartbeat ahead or a heartbeat behind, lost in the lag of a flickering light. Out of sync, out of sight, out of sync, out of sight. I check the old clock, but but the hands are all wrong. They're spinning too fast for our favorite song. I arrived at the station as the train pulled away with the words of a sorry I was meant to say. You found a new frequency, a brand new beat, while I'm still shuffling my weary feet to a melody that ended a lifetime ago, in a world that's moved on from the only thing I know.
Bought a palette and a brand new brush to capture the silence in the evening hush. But the reds have all faded, the yellows turn pale, like a sun-bleached flag or a tattered sail. I reach for the blue, but it's heavy and deep, like a secret that I can no longer keep. So I mix all the colors until they're the same, until I can't see the light of your name. The rainbow is gone, it's a trick of the light, a memory of when the world was so bright. Now I'm staring at a canvas that's empty and cold, at a story of us that's already been told. I'm painting in shades of gray tonight, erasing the edges of the wrong and the right. A little bit of charcoal, a little bit of slate, for the love that we lost in the turn of our fate. There's no more gold, and there's no more green, just the hazy remains of where we have been. I'm blurring the lines of the life we outstayed, painted in shades of gray. I remember your eyes were a sapphire spark, now they're just shadows lost in the dark. The rose on your cheek has been washed by the rain into a dull silver flicker of pain. I'm sketching the outlines of rooms we once shared, where I used to be brave and I used to be cared. But the pigments are dry and the water is thick, and the beauty of us is a disappearing trick. If I add enough white, will it turn into snow to cover the tracks where I let you go? Or will it just be a winter that never will end, where the colors are broken and refuse to mend? I found it tucked in the back of the drawer, the little gold circle we made on the floor. Just a strip of a napkin, a gum wrapper tie, from a night when we didn't need diamonds to fly. We swore it was solid, we swore it was real, as the thunder began its slow, heavy wheel. You slid it on slow, and you kissed my cold hand, building a kingdom on shifting wet sand. It was a promise of nothing, a promise of us, before the white metal turned into rust. A fragile reminder of a midnight in June, under a heavy and rain-beaten moon. Now it's just paper
washing away with the weight of the pain. The ink is all running, the edges are torn, like the tired out love that we've already worn. It's dissolving in circles, it's losing its shape, a tiny trap with no way to escape, just a soggy reminder of a love in vain, holding on to paper rings in the rain. I took it outside to the edge of the porch, where the street lamp is flickering, a dying torch. I watched as the water turned the white into gray, until the forever just melted away. It was lighter than air, it was cheap as a breath, but it's taking its time with this quiet death. I'm letting it go, letting it slide off of my finger and into the tide. Monday was a mountain I couldn't even climb. I sat and watched the shadows trade places with the time. I waited for the vibration, the chime of your name, but the phone stayed a stone in a dead-end game. Tuesday was the echo of a door that didn't swing. The house was so quiet I could hear the silence sing. I practiced my greeting, I cleared out my throat, but the air was a desert and I was a boat. The calendar is bleeding, the ink is turning gray, as I count the ways the world has slipped away. It's not just the words that I'm starting to lack, it's the feeling of someone who's never coming back. I'm drowning in 7 days of silence, a quiet kind of war, a velvet kind of violence. No hello, no how was your day? Just the sound of the colors all fading to gray. 1 week of the hush, 1 week of the still, waiting for a voice that I know never will. I'm a prisoner of a secret that nobody's heard. In 7 days of silence, without a single word. By Wednesday I was talking to the plants on the sill. By Thursday I was shaking from the atmospheric chill. Friday was a funeral for the plans that we made, watching the forever begin to slowly fade. Saturday I wandered through the grocery store, just to hear a human voice walk through the door. But now it's Sunday morning and the bells are all ringing, and I'm the only person who isn't out singing. tied my laces tight at the break of dawn, thinking if I moved, you'd finally be gone. I've been down every highway and every back lane, trying to outrun the ghost of your name. The wind is in my face and the sun's on my back, but I'm still stuck on the same dusty track. The scenery changes from the pines to the shore, but I'm no further away than I was before. My heart is racing, my breath's coming fast, but I can't break the tie to a beautiful past. The speedometer says I'm doing 85, but I'm barely moving, I'm barely alive. I'm running in place while the world moves on, chasing a shadow that's already gone. My legs are weary, my lungs are on fire, fueled by a desperate, hopeless desire. I'm burning the miles, I'm crossing the line, but your hand is still tangled inside of mine. No matter the distance, no matter the space, I'm just running in place. I crossed the state line just to see how it felt, to see if the memory of us would finally melt. But I brought you along in the passenger seat, in the way that I drive, in the rhythm and beat. I'm a hamster in a wheel, I'm a bird in a cage, stuck on the very same heartbroken page. I've run 1,000 miles since we said goodbye, but I'm still standing under the same lonely sky. I spent all morning on my knees in the grid, building a kingdom, every piece of it. I carved out the windows and I smoothed down the side, trying to build something that could stand against the tide. I thought if I made it tall enough and strong, that the ocean would see it and just move along. But the water is patient, the water is deep, and it doesn't care about the promises we keep. My hands are all salty, my fingernails torn from holding the line since the break of the morn. But the first little wave is already at the gate, and I'm starting to realize it's a little too late. I'm watching the water take my sandcastle walls, the towers are leaning, the bridge slowly falls. I try to protect it, I try to stay dry, but you can't fight the ocean no matter how hard you try. The grain and the glitter are all melting away, back to the blue and the cold and the gray. I'm standing in the ruins as the evening calls, left with the ghost of my sandcastle walls. Planned out the floor with the view of the sun rising, a heavy oak door. We thought we were solid, we thought we were stone, in a world made of granite that we called our own. But we built on the shoreline, we built on the shift, and now I'm just watching the memories drift. A handful of shells in a bucket of glass, watching the beautiful wreckage just pass. Should I start again? Should I move to the hill where the ground is much firmer and the air is more still? Or do I just sit here and watch the foam rise until there's nothing left but the salt in my eyes? I walked out to the dock at the edge of the lake to see if the sky had any mercy to take. The air was so still, it felt like a hole, and the water was black and the water was cold. I looked for the hunter, I looked for the bear, searching for something that used to be there. But the cosmos was jagged, the cosmos was thin, like a mirror that's broken from the weight of our sin. We used to name them, we used to believe that they were the witnesses who'd never leave. But tonight they are sharp, they are pointed and small, waiting for the gravity to take it all. It shattered starlight on the water tonight, the broken remains of a beautiful light. It used to be a ceiling, it used to be a home. Now it's just diamonds in a hollowed out dome. I'm picking up pieces of a sky that fell down, while the rest of the world is asleep in the town. Lost in the glow of a love that didn't fight under the shattered starlight. I made on a spark when we were just two kids lost in the dark. I thought that the heavens were keeping a score, that the universe wanted us to have more. But the stars are just gas and the stars are just fire, burning out high above our funeral pyre. There's no magic left in the silver and blue, just a cold reminder of the ghost of you. I walked out to the dock at the edge of the lake to see if the sky had any mercy to take. The air was so still, it felt like a hold, and the water was black and the water was cold. I looked for the hunter, I looked for the bear, searching for something that used to be there. But the cosmos was jagged, the cosmos was thin, like a mirror that's broken from the weight of our sin. We used to name them, we used to believe that they were the witnesses who never leave. But tonight they're sharp, they are pointed and small, waiting for the gravity to take it all. The shattered starlight on the water tonight, the broken remains of a beautiful light. It used to be a ceiling, it used to be a home. Now it's just diamonds in a hollowed out dome. I'm picking up pieces of the sky that fell down, while the rest of the world is asleep in the town. Lost in the glow of a love that didn't fight under the shattered starlight. I remember the wish that I made on a spark when we were just two kids lost in the dark. thought that the heavens were keeping a score, that the universe wanted us to have more. But the stars are just gas and the stars are just fire, burning out high above a funeral pyre. There's no magic left in the silver and blue, just a cold reminder of the ghost of you. I check my reflection in the hallway glass, straighten my collar, let the shadow pass. I practice the crinkle at the edge of my eyes, a master of shadows, a king of disguise. I walk out the door and I head into town, determined to keep all the heavy parts down. If I look busy, if I look bright, maybe they won't see I didn't sleep last night. It's a muscle I train, it's a part that I play to keep the "are you okay?" questions at bay. Because the truth is a suitcase too heavy to haul, so I build up a bright neon-colored wall. Oh, I'm perfecting the art of faking a smile. I've been practicing now for a long, lonely while. Lips turned up high while the heart's sinking low. A sold-out performance, a one-man show. If I grin wide enough, will the ache disappear? Can I laugh loud enough so I don't have to hear the sound of us breaking across every mile? I'm lost in the art of faking a smile. I'm the life of the party, I'm making the jokes, surrounded by strangers and well-meaning folks. I nod at the stories, I drink from the glass, while counting the seconds until I can pass back through my doorway and into the dark, where I can stop acting and lose every spark. But out in the sunlight, the mask is on tight, polished and pretty and deceptively light. The theater is empty, the velvet is worn, the costume is heavy, the spirit is torn. I've played every scene of the you and me show, from the highest of highs to the crushing and low. I stood in the spotlight and gave it my all, waiting for flowers or waiting to fall. But the audience left when the lights started dimming, and I'm tired of sinking and tired of swimming. The script has been finished, the ink is all dry. There's nothing left now but a quiet goodbye. I'm standing alone on the edge of the stage, turning the lock on a long heavy cage. It's the final curtain call for us, through the echoes of time and the settling dust. The clapping is ended, the music is still. I finally climb to the top of the hill. No more encores, no more one more time. I'm stepping take a bow for the ghost of the love we forestalled at the final curtain call. Oh, lighter the spark. When we were the only two lights in the dark, we thought it would run for a century or two. Back when the scenery was shiny and new. Now the paint is all peeling, the wires are bare, and I'm talking rows of an empty seed glare. It's time to head on to the silence and peace, to find in the ending a final release. I catch myself reaching for the second plate, checking the watch to see why you're late, before the silence reminds me of the truth, and the years start to weigh on the ghost of my youth. I still leave the light on the porch by the door, though nobody's coming to this house anymore. My hands have a memory, my feet have a track, a map that keeps leading me to where you were at. It's a reflex, a rhythm, a deep-seated hum, a habit of loving that's left me quite numb. I'm moving in circles, I'm playing the part with the clock in my head and a hole in my heart. I'm haunted by the ghost of your routine, living in the spaces that are hidden in between. I still buy the coffee that you used to like, I still watch the road for your old mountain bike. It's a sequence of shadows, a dance in the dark, searching for the fire, but losing the spark. I'm a prisoner of custom, if you know what I mean, held by the ghost of your routine. Pause at the window at 5:30, waiting for the driveway to come back alive. I hear a car door and I start to turn around, but it's just the neighbors, a hollowed out sound. I still sleep on my side of the queen-size bed, saving the space for the words never said. The toothbrush is gone, but the ghost of the steam is still lingering there, in a two-person dream. The suitcase is open, but only half packed. A room full of silence, a bridge that we cracked. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed we used to share, trying to breathe in what's left of the air. Your keys on the counter, a cold metallic sound. I'm looking for reasons to stay on the ground. The engine is humming, the driveway is long. I'm humming the words to a forgotten silent song. It's a slow motion exit, a blur in the glass, watching the ghosts of our memories pass. And I'm halfway to leaving, but stuck in a door. I don't wanna go, but I can't stay no more. A cinematic heartbreak in shades of deep gray. I'm pulling apart while I'm begging to stay. Yeah, I'm halfway to leaving, losing the light of the day. The soft electronic pulse of the clock on the wall is the only thing catching me each time I fall. Nostalgia is heavy, it's pulling me back to the glow of the fire before it went black. 1 foot in the hallway, 1 foot in the past. How can a goodbye be built to last? Just one more minute, just one more look, the final sentence in a finished book.
I'm standing in the hallway, looking at the wood, wondering if I'd open it, if I only could. It's got a brass handle and a coat of white paint, but the air around the frame is feeling heavy and faint. I got the key in my pocket, I've got the strength in my hand, but I'm frozen on the border of a forgotten land. Behind that panel is the ghost of a life, a kitchen, a hallway, a husband and wife. It's only 2 inches of timber and glue, but it's holding back oceans of me and of you. I'm reaching out slowly, then pulling away, afraid of the silence that's coming to stay. It's the loneliest door in the world tonight, leading to rooms that have lost all their light. One side is a hallway where I'm trying to breathe, the other's a memory that won't let me leave. I'm staring at the hinges, I'm staring at the lock, waiting for the bravery or the sudden shock to walk through the threshold and into the blue of the loneliest door in the world. I remember the nights when I'd rush to the latch before the first spark of the fire could catch. I'd
Hear your car in the drive and I'd throw it wide to let all the warmth of the evening inside. Now I'm terrified of what's on the other side of the empty coat hangers and the tears I haven't cried. A door is just a door until the love goes away. Then it's a mountain that gets in the way. Standing on the balcony at 2 a.m., looking for a spark, looking for a gem. But the sky is a mirror, cold and white, with nowhere left for a heart to hide. I'm whispering the things I couldn't say to you, to the craters and the silver and the deep of the blue. I'm laying out my secrets on the cold concrete, while the shadows of the city are asleep at my feet. It doesn't look away, it doesn't turn its head. It hears every word that we already said. It saw the first kiss and it saw the last fight, a silent observer in the middle of the night. And the moon is a witness to my ghost, to the version of me that loved you the most. It saw me fall down and it saw me go pale. It watched as our forever began to fail. High above the heartache, high above the scars, it's the only light left in a graveyard of stars, holding all the truth that I can't quite dismiss. Yeah, the moon is a witness. It's all the way you packed your bags in the dark. It's all the way the silence left a permanent mark. It watched me trace your name in the frost on the pane, and it watched as the seasons turned back to the rain. It knows how many nights I've stayed awake, counting every single breath I had to take. Without you there to steady the rhythm of the beat, now it's just me and the moon on this lonely street.
standing on the balcony at 2 a.m. Looking for a spark, looking for a gem. But the sky is a mirror, cold and white, with nowhere left for heart to hide. I'm whispering the things I couldn't say to you, to the craters and the silver and the deep of the blue. I'm laying out my secrets on the cold concrete, while the shadows of the city are asleep at my feet. It doesn't look away, it doesn't turn its head. It hears every word that we already said. It saw the first kiss and it saw the last fight, a silent observer in the middle of the night. And the moon is a witness to my ghost, to the version of me that loved you the most. It saw me fall down and it saw me go pale. It watched as our forever began to fail. High above the heartache, high above the scars, it's the only light left in a graveyard of stars, holding all the truth that I can't quite dismiss. Yeah, the moon is a witness. It saw the way you packed your bags in the dark. It saw the way the silence left a permanent mark. It watched me trace your name in the frost on the paint, and it watched as the seasons turned back to the rain. It knows how many nights I've stayed awake, counting every single breath I had to take without you there to steady the rhythm of the beat. Now it's just me and the moon on this lonely street. I'm standing on the balcony at 2 a.m. looking for a spark, looking for a gem. But the sky is a mirror, cold and white, with nowhere left for a heart to hide. I'm whispering the things I couldn't say to you, to the craters and the silver and the deep of the blue. I'm laying out my secrets on the cold concrete, while the shadows. I'm standing in the kitchen at 4:30, staring at the handle of the back porch door. The air is thick, like it's made of glass, waiting for the ghost of your laugh to pass. I open my mouth to let out the sound, to shake the walls and to break the ground. But the air just hitches inside of my throat, a sinking ship, a weightless boat. It's a hurricane trapped in a mason jar, a burning sun, a dying star. The pressure is rising behind my eyes, but I'm keeping the lid on all the lies. It's the quietest scream you've ever heard, a roar that's hidden in a single word. It's the sound of a heart that's tearing in two without making a noise, without waking you. I'm screaming in silence, I'm howling in gold, under the weight of a story untold. Nobody hears the way that I dream of letting out the quietest scream.
down the aisle, nodding at neighbors with a porcelain smile. But underneath the hello and the I'm doing fine is a siren that's crossing a permanent line. I'm screaming at the fruit, I'm screaming at the rain, I'm screaming at the shadow of all of this pain. But my lips never move and my voice never breaks, while the earth in my soul just shudders and quakes. There's a silence that's louder than a crashing wave. It's the quiet that settles inside of a cave. I was sitting right here with my hand in your palm, in the middle of the storm, in the middle of the calm. Then the air shifted cold and the light turned to gray, and the words that you spoke started drifting away. I felt the vibration, the pull and the thrum, until every nerve in my body went numb. It wasn't a screaming, it wasn't a cry, it wasn't a thunderous jagged goodbye. It was just a small glitch in the rhythm we kept, while the rest of the world and the angels all slept. It was the sound of a heart stopping dead, the end of the stories we haven't yet read. No more the ticking, no more the beat, just the cold of the marble beneath my feet. The music has vanished, the static is gone, leaving me here in the bloodless dawn. I'm listening for life, but I'm dropping the ring to the sound of a heart stopping, the emptiest thing. I put my ear to the door, I put my ear to your chest, waiting for the us to come back from its rest. But the clock has been broken, the spring has been wound to a point where there isn't a trace of a sound. I'm a witness to zero, a student of none, watching the eclipse of my only sun. It's a hollowed out echo, a canyon of no, watching the very last flickering go.